Was there room for the hat in this car? I don't know. Oh my, this is even worse than the other one. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm driving a little different car today, so things. What is that? That's all right. So it's a little bit different, but we'll do what we can do. I don't have a sunroof. It looks like I do in the pictures. Is that no? You know what that is? That's actually the this thing, the windshield. That's weird. I guess that's how it's tilted. Anyway, good morning, everybody. On my way to work. This I'm in a different car today because I had a flat tire the other night, so you couldn't see it last night because it was a dark video. But all right, let's get started. You know what? The first minute, it's already. I gotta have the zinger there. So I'm not going to talk about what I wanted to talk about. Just talk about nonsense for a few minutes to have one more video. Just yesterday, this was something I was thinking maybe I'd make a second video about this. I'll talk about this first. I don't know. Yesterday, I had a tour of. You'll excuse me. You know, I work in interfaith work and so forth. So that's some of what I'm dealing with. I had a tour of an Orthodox Christian seminary and monastery, not too far from where I work, where one of my co-workers, actually who I supervise, is one of the professors there of field studies. He basically teaches the interns about prison chaplaincy and chaplaincy in general, hospital chaplaincy, nursing home chaplaincy, mental health chaplaincy, which is his specialty, things like that. So, and he's well known for that in the Orthodox Christian world. And we're very proud of him, and he's very good with us, So when I went there, I dressed a little bit more rebbish than I usually do. Today, I'm wearing a capote and a blue shirt, specifically because I'm actually become part of the adjunct faculty of that seminary, not on campus, but I'm training the interns, the priests who are interning with us, or the future priests in the Orthodox Church, or some of the guys who just want to get their master's degree, whatever, in chaplaincy, just pretty much just walking them around the institution and showing them like that. And I was thinking, it would be nice if we had things like that, for Orthodox yeshivas, Jewish Orthodox. I know they're both called Orthodox, but it's different. But it would be nice. I know the Reform and the Conservative, they do stuff like that. The thing is, we tend to compartmentalize. We have a yeshiva, and then we'll have maybe some kind of rabbinic training program. So that's probably better if the rabbinical training program, would be involved with something along those lines. Partner with, I'm thinking, like New York Board of Rabbis or something, to get training for chaplains and so forth, for rabbis who want to be in chaplaincy, and kind of get their foot in the door for something like that as well. I know I went to the Young Israel Rabbinical Training Program. They would partner with New York Board of Rabbis to, like I said, to get into with the training for chaplaincy. I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. So anyway, the interns, they all, most of them are priests or deacons or something in the Orthodox Church. They want to wear their robes, their cassocks, and the prison is not comfortable with that. Me, I usually, as a rabbi, and I know not all rabbis dress like this, but I was a Rav of a shul, and I wear bekisha during the week usually. Although I have plain reckles I used to wear. I don't even know where they are right now. Actually, they probably fell off of the hangers in the closet, and they're on the bottom of the closet. They're probably not even wearable anymore, as opposed to the bekishas the Shabbos bekishas I continue to wear or whatever. But it started when I was a Rav in a shul. I just said, I can wear a bekisha during the week, especially in Richmond, Virginia. Not being ostentatious to wear a bekisha during the week. And I wore my more brighter hits, the more Rebbeisha hat that I had. I was thinking to wear a kolpik there, and I carried. And I know it's not for someone like me, but it had to do with where I was and so forth. I have a cane. People know that, and I was carrying the cane. I don't, these guys that were talking about how they wear their cassocks even when they go to Wegmans to their and how uncomfortable they feel to come to the prison, and they said they visited other prisons and they were allowed to wear the cassocks. And what we were told is, when I discussed it with my supervisors, they said, they would prefer. They said, I'm an employee there, and I'm a supervisor. For me to wear my bekisha, which they check every day, I take it off, and they have to pat it down and so forth when I come in. The same thing, the kapota I'm wearing. And it has to clear the metal detector and everything. But that's just what they're saying. And the thing is, my feeling is that their teacher, he doesn't wear his cassock all the time. He wears his cassock when it's liturgically appropriate, or when he's in the presence of his bishop or so forth, which I saw yesterday was the first time I ever saw him wearing his cassock. And the rest of the time, he has a collar, he has that's it, And if he's going to Wegmans or something, he might wear just a regular polo shirt or something, And he's a priest, he's a pastor of a church, and so for me, I also have short jackets I would wear. I don't want to discuss too much. Chitonius doesn't matter that much. That's one thing. I know a lot of people who I've worked with over the years, Gerim, Bali Tshuva, and things. They want to right away. They want to put on a bekisha for Shabbos. I usually suggest start with wearing a gartel if that's what you really want to do, and then from there maybe on Shabbos a bekisha with a bent down hat. That's how I started. Really actually looks kind of nice. A bent down hat with a bekisha and a tie really looks quite nice, like the Stoller wear, and a lot of people in Flatbush and so forth, that's a style that a lot of people wear. Or some people only at the dinner table to wear a tish bekisha, kind of keep their clothes clean, even if it's not a real tish bekisha, just a robe or whatever it is. But don't be so obsessed with all these chitzonius things. The fact of the matter, like Rabbi Bar Tzadok says, even the yarmulke itself, it's not. What's going on with this camera? Well, I gotta focus on the road. If I'm sideways, I'm sideways. Doesn't matter. It's chitzonius, right? The yarmulke, it's not a holy thing. He took off his yarmulke and waved it around on a video once, like laughing, whatever. And I'll be honest, if I'm performing a wedding for a non-Jewish couple, I'll wear a hat until the ceremony, and for those 5 minutes, I'll go with my head uncovered. I'm reading the ceremony and being respectful to them. They want to take pictures. It's not. Sometimes I wear a small yarmulke. Sometimes, if I can get away with it, it's outdoors. I wear my top hat or a boater hat or something like that. But these types of things. So it depends on what the situation. To me, as a professional rabbi, I think, and particularly that I identify with a particular movement, and that's something that came up yesterday. now it's back to the right way, right? I dress a certain way, but I'll switch it around a little bit every now and then. So like today, in order to be sensitive to these guys who want to wear their long robes, I wear a kapota that's pretty short, but I still feel like a rabbi. It's not like a regular suit jacket. I mean, I do believe rabbis should, even if you're a rabbi in Young Israel Shul, you should look like a rabbi. You should, I mean, most of the rabbis I know, Young Israel Shuls, at least they wear a black hat. Most of them will wear a black hat every day, at least on Shabbos. If you're a rabbi and a little bit more of a, I'll say it like this, I know one, a Talmid Chacham, a very chashuv Rav, he's a cousin of my Rav, and he's a Rav in a shul that calls itself a shtibel. They daven Ashkenaz there, which is fine. That's not what I'm talking about here, but you have a lot of the people there, they wear bekishes, and the Rav wears a short jacket on Shabbos, and my feeling is, put on a kapota. I know you're a Litvaka, maybe you're not ready for the Hamburg yet, you still want to wear a short jacket, and during the week you wear the short jacket, but Shabbos, you're a Rav in a shul like this, in a real Bismedrash, you should wear a kapota on Shabbos. That's especially if you have people in the. I understand that a kapota with a bend-on hat, they might think you're a Lubavitcher, so that's why you should wear a Hamburg. But if you feel like you're not ready for that, the fact you don't wear a gartel, it's enough. They know you're not a Lubavitcher. You don't have to worry about that. It doesn't. It's not the Mexicura I'm not worried about, but the Mexicamina, I'm sorry, but. And you keep your beard nice, whatever. So, I mean, the fact is, sometimes if I do weddings, I put on a graduation robe, And the thing is, rabbis in England wear robes. The rabbis in England used to wear collars because the collar was not a Catholic thing. It was actually just an English thing for clergy and in England, all Christian clergy and most Jewish clergy, except maybe the real Haredisha and some, I would imagine, Muslim and Buddhist and so forth, also would wear collars. There's a picture of Avram Cohen, who translate the Encino Chumash that came out after the Hertz Chumash. I might as well get my I'm waiting for the turn here, get my IT ready. And he did a lot of the Encino Gemaras and so forth, and there's a picture of him. You really don't see a yarmulke, and he's wearing a big, they call a vicar's collar. It's not really a style now, the one that goes all the way around. I would kind of want to get something like that. I might have like a Halloween costume, one of those that I sometimes put on for these weddings, but it's more like a dickie that you put on, but it like has Velcro on the back, But there's nothing particularly Christian about that. That's more or less that was just a sign of clergy of any religion in England in the old days. And today, the chief rabbi of England doesn't wear a collar, but he does wear on Shabbos a robe, like a blue. I have a robe similar to that, a graduation gown, and he wears something like that. And I think most of the rabbis in the United Synagogue wear these black robes. That's, again, the Haredisha, they don't wear that, but I'm talking United Synagogue, the modern Orthodox. That's and really, that's what I would say. If the modern Orthodox, they don't want to wear a black hat, and this. My feeling is, Shabbos to wear a robe like that. I understand the reason why they don't, and why they choose to wear suits, but I don't know. I like that pastoral picture, and the thing is, it is a hashkafa issue that who is a rabbi? Rabbi's just a regular guy, and he's just one of us, and he's not. But the thing is, by the Muslims, the imam's just a regular guy. By the most of the Protestants, the non-liturgical Protestants, same thing. They're a minister. It's just it's not like a holy person. It's just someone who but still, and a lot of those, some yes and some no, they will put on a robe. They will want to make it look like, is that a skunk up there? Maybe I could drive around it instead of driving right over it. These types of questions, that we have to, I don't know. A little bit further in the discussion, something that I want to bring up. So the interesting thing is, so the dean, they just hired a dean in the seminary, a guy from, I think, from South Carolina, and he's an Orthodox priest, and he wears the skufi, not a kufi, a skufi, the yarmulke they wear. I have a yarmulke like that. I was thinking I wore my black hat, and I carried my cane, and I was a shticker rebel of the, when I walk around. It's the same thing like when I went to Ecuador. I took a cane with me because visiting, especially, also when you go to those types of places, and the same thing when I do a lot of the weddings and so forth, I'll take a cane with me. Even I'm wearing the top hat, and I have a top hat and the capota, and the frock coat, then it looks more like something like out of Charles Dickens, from from Edwardian England or something. I don't know. I mean, I put the payas up, but anyway, and I actually, usually at work, I don't wear my payas down, but there at the seminary, I wanted to look very Jewish. I wanted to be. But also, they all wear their costumes, so I wore my costume. And I wore a longer Beckish than I usually wear. And I wore that to work, and I wore a nice hat with a big brim in it. So they, the dean asked me if I was a Lubavitcher. He's like, "Oh, which you affiliate a particular community with Chabad?" And I said, I'm really independent. I don't really identify. If you want to say something that I'm somewhat associated, you could say Satmar. Not really a Satmar chassid. My Rebbe is the Kalaber Rebbe. I follow a lot of things, as far as like Zmiras to say and stuff like that. Not everything, but a lot of things will be like what's in the Zmiras Divrei Yol. Although usually I'll say more, because which actually the current Satmar Rebbe is, also said more, and or whatever I feel like singing. But what I said was, they do push a lot to dress a certain way, but also, and they're known for being anti-Zionist, which is surprising. They oppose the current state of Israel, but that's what they're most famous for. But also, what appeals to me personally is how they're very open-minded as far as their approach to a lot of Jewish things. I consider it, within the canon of Jewish thought, I consider their approach to be a more holistic approach, which is true. I've discussed this before. I mean, you compare Satmar to Skver. I mean, the classic story, whether it's true or not, was, the Satmar Rav Zchus Yagalenu was talking to, I believe, Mustama Skver Rebbe Shlita, or if not, the Skver Rebbe Zatzal with his father. So, and the Satmar Rav quotes something from the Ketzois, and the Skver Rebbe said, Satmar Ruv learns Ketzois, because it was a whole thing. Ketzois was a misnagid, and he was roided for a lot of Chassidim, and so in Skver they don't learn the Ketzois. It's a commentary on Shulchan Aruch, on Choshen Mishpat, which deals with business laws and laws of judges and things. It's a commentary on code of Jewish law, and Satmar Rav, he said, he was learning Choshen Mishpat, and he had a kasha, and he looked through the whole Maranayim, Hasidic book, a commentary on the Torah, on the Parsha from the first Rebbe of Chernobyl, a great, holy book, which is of course highly revered among the Square Hasidim, because the Square Rebbe is Ben Acher Ben, a direct descendant of the Moranayim. So he said, I learned the whole Moranayim, I didn't find an answer, and I opened the Kesais, and there it was right away. Now I question, does Satmar Rebbe really say something like that? Because it's a little, it's not so nice, I'll say, but it's hard to believe that he actually said that. But and the thing is, it's like that, like in the, and I'm not picking particularly on Chabad, because it's the same thing. Like I said, Square, and Karl and Stalin. I mean, Karl and Stalin, they're lucky they have a very normal, down to earth Rebbe, who's but the way they look at him, it's like it's very oh wow, the Rebbe, So, whereas in Satmar, the Rebbe, all right, he wears all the fancy stuff with the cane, the white socks, and the Stalin Rebbe wears a kapata and a necktie, and he has his pace behind his ears, and he wears, it's a beaver hood, but it's like a, round, bend up beaver hood, and on Shabbos he just wears a regular bekisha, and sometimes his buttons missing on the sleeves or something, and he wears long pants, and he has Hasidim, with golden kaftans, Yerushalayim, and they have their Krazel Dik Yerushalayim Payas, and they're not wearing a necktie, and they're wearing maybe even a white kappel and maybe white socks, and which, the story goes was, because he has a Gabo who's Yerushalayim with the Plastic hit, and he's older than the Rebbe, and the Stalin Rebbe is a big tzaddik, a very holy person. I have utmost respect for him, and this story kind of demonstrates that, a lot of people, there's always this question that a lot of people have is, do you put together a minyan on an airplane? Some people say yes, some people say no, some people even they daven sitting down Shemona Esrei on the airplane, and maybe if they get there, or maybe they just stand up for Shemona Esrei. I remember I mentioned Moranayim, I saw Rabbi Avram Twersky, Zilka Zain, the very famous author. He refused to go and join the minyan on the plane. He sat by his seat, he davened, Talsin Tefillin, he stood up for Shemona Esrei the best he could, and that was it. And that was how it sich gefiert, and so anyway, the Stolen Rebbe's Gaba at Siegestelta Minyan, and he organized a prayer quorum on the airplane, and then the Gaba, he went to the bathroom, and they're all waiting for him, and so then the Rebbe started giving him Mussar. What are you doing? All these people are waiting for you? That's not fair. And so the people, they heard Stolen Rebbe's on the airplane, they didn't know what he looks like, and they start saying to the Rebbe, what are you doing? You have no respect for your Rebbe? He thought they all thought the Gaba was the Rebbe. They say the same story. Lubavitcher Rebbe, he's in German. It was already it was when he just became Rebbe. And, there weren't pictures of him everywhere, and Satmar Rav wasn't. If there were, Satmar Rav wasn't looking at pictures of Lubavitcher Rebbe. I don't think it's like it is now. And Lubavitcher Rebbe went to be Menachem Avol. He went to a shiva call to console Satmar Rebbe when he was mourning after his daughter who had died in 1951, 1952, 1953, something like that. So Lubavitcher Rebbe became Lubavitcher Rebbe in 1950 or 1951. No, it was 1950 that he, right? 49 is when the Rayatz, who Satmar Rav had tremendous respect for. It was one of the few funerals that Satmar Rav ever attended. Now that like when Zalman Levi goes to levayas of people from the community, but I'm saying I was there with someone. A very chashuv lady from who was my wife was very, very close friends with, and I remember Zalman Levi came. It was in Monroe. He came up. He didn't go into the Bisachayim, but outside he was maspid, and it was actually very nice. It was very, and but the Satmarov, he went to Lvaya from Reb Rayatz, and even to the cemetery, didn't go inside, but he rode all the way to Queens, from Brooklyn. That's to go from Brooklyn to Brooklyn is like further than going from Monticello to Scranton, Pennsylvania. I don't know if it was like that back then, but that's how it is now. To go from to go from Williamsburg to Borough Park, it takes like 5 hours, and then another 5 hours once you get to Borough Park to find somewhere to park, because you have to drive around the whole borough to find where to park. So, so the same story goes. The Lubavitch Rebbe had a Gaba with a Stuffner hit, with he was wearing like a Hamburg or a bowler hat or something, and the Lubavitch Rebbe, with the short jacket and the bent down hat, and the Lubavitch Rebbe started talking in Chassidus, and Satmarov was sitting there with Rav Kotler. So Chusi Yiganaleinu, the Rav was there being Menachem Abel, and the great classic Rosh Yeshiva, the Lakewood Rosh Yeshiva, the founder of Lakewood, and whatever. So the Satmarov, he had a big sense of humor. He said to Lubavitch Rebbe's Gaba, he said, this kid here, he should be the Rebbe. The Gaba said, no, that is the Rebbe, So, so whatever, it's the same type of story. But so it's interesting is Satmar, all the pomp and circumstance. It's like the Queen of England; she has no power. The same thing. The Satmar Rebbe, Alts Rebbe, has no power. Whatever power it is the Torah. It's not him; it's the Torah. Don't add, It's like I told you. I really have to one day sit down and translate this whole interview with Rabbi Yitzchak Levovich with the Rav Woodridge. They asked Yitzchak Levovich, what would Satmarov say about the technology these days? And then Rabbi Yitzchak soll gesund sein. He's really probably one of the greatest Dayanim poskim that we have in the world. I know a lot of people don't like him, but personally I think he's incredible. And my Rav Rabbi Fishbein really says from all the Rabbanim in Sullivan County, he holds probably the most from Rabbi Yitzchak Levovich. Rabbi Yitzchak soll gesund sein, he said that they asked him what he was Talmud from Satmarov. What would Satmarov say about the current technology and he said, why? He said Satmarov would say, why are you asking me that? What does the Torah say? Not what does Satmarov say. And that's the big, I would say, the nafkamina. And Rabbi Yitzchak Levovich takes it to an extreme, perhaps, but it's the truth. Is that Satmar is not a Chassidus. He said, anyone would say you're Satmar Chassid, you're Satmar Talmud. He said, what's Satmar? Satmar is just the town where my Rosh Yeshiva was the Rav before the World War. Don't make it into a whole thing. And that's really, and I know it's changing. It's transforming into more of the standard issue of Chassidus. Certainly, but it's still it maintains that that aspect. That's what I mean. As opposed to in Lubavitch, what does the Lubavitch Rebbe say? That's it. That's more than if it's in the Chumash. I maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's I mean, again, it's but that's kind of what anybody who's in Sullivan County, I would really encourage you to go to meet Rabbi Levovich in Woodridge. He's a different type of character than you would run into anywhere else. He's the real old-fashioned Hungarian, He wears a bekisher during the week and so forth. He feared sich like a shtickle like a rebbe, but he's a tremendous Talmud Chacham. Just one of the most outstanding Torah scholars that I can think of. And again, I know a lot of people that don't like him. They feel he's but he's whatever it is. But I personally, I think he's really and not in a cultish way. Not in that he's a rebbe. I'm just saying he provides an example. It's the same way, like, and I don't think he's the biggest in the world. I just think he's in Sullivan County, and we have a lot of big Choshev Talmidei Chachamim in Sullivan County. We have, Belly Bear Boxvogel, a tremendous person. And we have Vision to Rebbe now, and of course in the summer we have everybody. But I'm just saying, I mean, in the whole year round, and my Rav, Rabbi Fishbane, is a special person, But I'm saying Rabbi Fishbane, who's, much older than Rabbi Yitzchak Lebovich, has a lot of respect for Rabbi Yitzchak Lebovich. That means something. I mean, Rabbi Fishbane's, I would say he's the senior rabbi of Sullivan County. I think he's older than Rabbi Goodman. I would imagine so. And I don't know if he's been in Sullivan County as long as Rabbi Goodman, but he's Rabbi Goodman's a fine person. I know, again, I have no problems with him either. So anyway, that's the So, all right. I've spoken enough nonsense for a half hour. Look at that. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. We'll talk later. Thank you.